Hi, welcome to Bar Cart Bookshelf, a video series about books and the drinks they inspire. My name is Elias, and today we're talking about The City in Glass by Nghi Vo. Nghi Vo is an author I've wanted to talk about here on Bar Cart Bookshelf for a long time. I've been a big fan of Vo's Singing Hills novellas, but for some reason they just haven't lent themselves to drinks in my mind. They're really wonderful. You should check them out. But it's been a matter of finding the right time and finding the right book. And The City in Glass is the right book. And for me, it was at the right time. You know, it's been a difficult week here in America. It's been a week of tremendous disappointment, anxiety, and fear as we enter into what will be a very difficult time for many of us. And on Wednesday, I didn't know what I was going to be reading. And I don't think that books are the answer, that reading is the vanguard of the revolution. Because it's not. It's important. It's essential to a civil society, and it's a comfort in hard times. But it's not. It's not rocket science, you know. It's not life-saving medicine. It's not healthcare. We're making books, and that's wonderful. And sometimes that's just what we need to do. And on Wednesday, I'd been reading a few chapters a night of The City in Glass, thinking, all right, this will be a nice bedtime activity. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk about it. And then Wednesday after the election, I was like, I need to read all of this. What I needed to do that day was read this book. And I'm tremendously glad that I did. It's the story of a city with a patron demon, Vitrine, and the city faces a cataclysm. It's destroyed in the first chapter by angels. A swarm of angels descends upon the city of Azril and destroys it in this sort of Sodom and Gomorrah, though we don't really know quite for what reason the angels ever come to destroy the city. It's simply that this precious thing was shattered. And then the remainder of the short novel is the rebuilding and the transformation of the city of Azril. The demon patron Vitrine, she remains in the city. It's her city. It's something that matters to her, that she cares about tremendously in her whimsical, demoniacal way. And then it thinks about what it is to be destroyed and what it is to rebuild, and what it is to be changed by cataclysm. And it's a character study, a portrait of a location, an exploration of what makes a place itself. If you have places, we all have places we call home, all places that we care about deeply, and what makes those places unique, and what makes those places worthy of our care and consideration. And part of that is it's a choice, you choosing to love a place and choosing to care about things and choosing to build and to rebuild. Just very meditative. Thinking about the slow arc of transformation and rebuilding. It's a very thoughtful book, one that was recommended to me in comparison to some familiar favorites of ours here on Bar Cart Bookshelf, The Spear Cuts Through Water, and The Saint of Bright Doors. It's different from both of those, but it has that same literary fantasy quality to it, and that same love of language and exploration of sort of grand ideas in conversation with the long history of the genre. It's a very lovely book, and I am so glad that it's the one that we have as our Bar Cart Bookshelf introduction to the work of Nghi Vo. I look forward to finding the next of those works that also inspires a drink. And so I guess without any further ado, why don't we turn to today's drink? Our drink is the Azril. It takes its name from the city, the titular city in glass that Vitrine, the demon, watches over and rebuilds. And it begins with a damp paper towel along the rim of a glass. We always do this because what we're going to do is rim the edge of the glass with some salt. Azril is a seaside town. It's a port city, but more importantly, we have some red, sort of pink salt. And so for rimming our glass today, I've got some pink Himalayan salt. Got that on the dish. You've dampened your rim of your glass and just sort of roll that around to pick up a nice even bit of salt on the rim. That sort of bit of brininess, lovely. And as you can see, we have, there we go, hold next to my cardigan, a lovely rimming of salt. We'll set our glass aside and build the rest of our cocktail. Our base spirit is apple brandy. I am choosing the American apple brandy from Copper and Kings as our brandy today for several reasons. One, it's a darn good brandy. Two, it is one that's very close to home for me, and so feels appropriate to a book that's thinking about patronage and home and what it means to be centered in a place. And three, because I will be doing a demonstration at the distillery, Copper and Kings, on Friday, November 22nd at 7 p.m. If you're in the Louisville area or willing to travel to the Louisville area, come on down. We'll be shaking up and stirring up some cocktails and mocktails and talking about my debut beverage book, Cocktails and Consoles. So a really lovely event to be looking forward to. And of course we have apples that play a somewhat prominent role in the novel as well. We're going to start with 1.5 ounces of our apple brandy. Lovely. Set that aside. And then for a bit of zing and zip, we're going to get 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. Lovely. Then for our sweeteners, get 1/2 ounce of blackberry liqueur. My homemade blackberry liqueur made by soaking frozen blackberries in vodka with sugar. Give that like 2 weeks, and you'll have a lovely berry liqueur to enjoy in all of your cocktails. You see some berry brambles that appear in the novel, and this sense of prickliness and the stickers and thorns of a berry bush. We'll get 1/2 ounce of our blackberry liqueur, then some honey. Get 1/4 ounce of honey syrup. Honey syrup is good to be used in moderation because the honey can be such a dominating flavor. It's one of those flavors like the anise and absinthe when we use that, or the creme de violette as we used last week in Metal from Heaven, that can overwhelm the rest of the cocktail. So 1/4 ounce is going to work really well with the rest of our ingredients here. It's going to play well with the fruity flavors of that blackberry and that apple, the zing of the lemon. We'll get that down in there. Lovely. and then a few dashes of Angostura bitters. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like a good 4. As always with bitters, it's easy to add more, hard to add less. So, give it a shot, maybe with 2. If you're not so crazy about that like cinnamon, clove, allspice, baking spice quality or that bitterness, you can always add some more. One of the images of the book that really stuck with me was this idea that a drop of clove oil will transform the flavor of a whole huge batch of sugar. And so bringing that bit of clove and baking spice and also that bit of bittersweetness to our cocktail really helped to think about the structure of the novel and the themes of the novel. Lovely. And so there we go. We've got all of our ingredients in there. Get our ice, cap it, and shake it up, wake it up. Lovely. Perfect. Give that a stout tap to flex the tins against each other. There we go, so that they can separate apart. Take our prepared glass, our handy-dandy Hawthorne strainer, and strain and enjoy. Perfect. And so there you have it. This is the Azril, inspired by The City in Glass by Nghi Vo. The City in Glass is available now. I've got a link to snag it in the description down below. It really is a thoughtful and lovely book, a book that I found comfort in, and that I found an air of melancholy resolution that seeks towards joy. And that's an energy that I would like to cultivate, and I hope that my friends and peers out there are hoping to cultivate as well in the years to come. We've got links to various forms of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, where there's always a written version of today's recipe. We've got a link to snag my book, Cocktails and Consoles, 75 Cocktails and Mocktails Inspired by the Wonderful World of Video Games. Makes a really great holiday gift. Highly recommend. If you're in the Louisville area, come on down to Copper and Kings on Friday the 22nd to attend the demonstration. I'm really excited. We're going to have some books, we're going to have some drinks, we're going to have some chittin' and chatting. It's going to be a really fun time. Hit that like button. It makes me so happy when you do. It really helps us to find new audiences. Subscribe if you haven't already. We've got some great new authors headed your way as we round out 2024 and head into 2025. Try the drink. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And until next time, cheers.